Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Dan Henry 1972 Maverick Alarm Chronograph. So I purchased this watch with my own money. No matter how I get a watch in for review on this channel, you're always going to get my honest opinion, whether I purchased it myself, whether I've been given it for free, whether it's a loaner. You're always going to get my honest opinion. And if by the end of this review you want to pick one of these up or find out some more information about it, I'll be leaving a link down in the video description. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. It just takes you to the Dan Henry website. The retail price for this watch is about $370 US. That's before any taxes, customs, VAT, etc. They really don't go on sale either, so if you're interested in the watch, there's not really a good time to buy the watch. This specific watch comes only in two configurations. You have the silver colorway here, and then you also have the black PVD coated one. So yeah, I think the only other difference is the second-hand color. The black one comes with a red second-hand. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, stainless steel bracelet as well, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 50 meters of claimed water resistance. The watch is powered by the Miyota 0S80 alarm chronograph movement. Each watch comes in a pretty cool cylindrical case, and then it has a nice canvas and leather watch roll, which can hold up to 3 watches. It's a pretty solid deal in my opinion for $370. So I'm just like you guys. When I like a watch, I go and watch reviews. So I watched quite a few reviews on this watch, and there's some things that I think they missed, or I don't want to say lied about, but were very misleading in some of the details in it. So yeah, I'm here to give you the full review, and that is going to start right now. But before we get into it fully, we'll get into the wrist check for the day. Wearing this one. This one just arrived. This is the Millifortic M096, I believe. It's a nice Zen 556 homage. Actually, a really, really nice watch. And a full review for this one will be coming up. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Alright, so let's get into dimensions. We got a case diameter of 41 millimeters, case thickness of 12.8 millimeters. We have a lug width of 20 millimeters, a lug to lug of 45.6 millimeters, and sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist with 2 links removed. It weighs 146 grams. So I think the size is actually pretty nice. It's 41. The lug to lug is not too bad. It is a cushion case, and they are hooded lugs there. So yeah, it is 20 millimeters in there. So you can fit 20 millimeter straps, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But the bracelet definitely flares out there. But you know, I think it wears pretty flat. That's my one complaint with it, is that it's pretty flat and pretty tall. So yeah, you can see here. This sitting down on the wrist, and then you've got quite a gap until it gets to this section here of the mid case. So it does wear pretty flat in my opinion. That's one of the things that I didn't really see mentioned elsewhere, and it's something that I don't really appreciate about the design. Other than that though, I think it wears really good. There's no like sharp edges on it or anything like that. It's got some good heft to it, even though it's a quartz movement. So yeah, I do like the way that it wears. Sadly, we have some pretty terrible weather, but I did go outside and in my patio and shot some video for you, so I'm going to show it to you on my 7.5 inch wrist, and you can see that it actually wears really nice for me. You know, I've got the wrist to pull this off, and yeah, like I said, it does wear a little bit flat, but super comfortable. I think the crystal on it is actually pretty good. And yeah, I've overall been pretty satisfied with how it wears on the bracelet. Here you can see it on the rubber strap that I put it on. That's an FKM cut to size strap. Actually a nice strap, and I think it doesn't look horrible. I definitely will be keeping this on the bracelet though. I think it just looks better on the bracelet. So just something to keep in mind. I did have some clearance issues with some thicker straps, so you're gonna have to find certain straps to fit this watch in my opinion. It's not gonna fit everything just because of the design of the lugs. All right, so let's talk about the case finishing. So the case finishing on this, it is pretty simple. It is 100% bead blasted, as you can see here. Pretty nicely done, very smooth. There's not really much texture to it at all. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. This is a fairly used watch, and you can see it still looks pretty good. I guess under some harsh lighting, you can see some little hairline scratches in it, but I think it's held up pretty well. The owner before me said that they used it a lot, so yeah, it's actually done pretty good. I did pick up one little ding in the bezel right there, but other than that, the watch head actually looks pretty darn good. You can see here we've got a DH signed crown there. Good sized crown, nice grip. It is a screw down crown. But yeah, I think it all looks pretty good. It's one solid piece there, so there's not a seam or a crease here. So yeah, it actually I like the case on it. Like I said earlier, it is a little bit flat, but I don't think it looks bad. It's just wears a little bit, I guess, tall for my liking. Flipping it over to the case back here, we have a screw down case back with simple notches there. Then you have a spec sheet around the outside. It all looks very cool. You've got this, I believe that's a Ducati, 1972 Ducati. And I mean, it just, the case back on this watch looks excellent. Looks really good. The motorcycle there is polished. Everything else is circular brush there. And then you've got this kind of bead blasted on the back there. But yeah, I think it looks really, really good. And again, it's super smooth, super comfortable. No issues with the case back. So the crystal on this watch, it is a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside. You can see there, it doesn't really, I mean, it just barely sits up above the bezel, but it is just perfectly flat. The air coating has a slight, very slight blue hue to it. I think it's a good crystal though. It looks really good. You know, I always say flat crystals don't need anti-reflective coating, and the fact that they threw it on there, yeah, I'm really happy with the crystal. I think they actually did a pretty good job on it. All right, so let's talk about the dial on the watch. So the dial, there's a lot going on, but it's a very clean and I think very legible dial for its design. The main part of it is this sloped chapter ring here on the outside with your tachymeter readings. It's very sloped. It looks really cool. It's very clean. Yeah, I mean, I've got no issues with that. I think it looks good. Everything is aligned or seems to be aligned nicely. I'm not a huge tachymeter user, but yeah, it seems to be aligned nicely. The dial itself, it's a sandwich dial, so each of the hour indices there, they are a little sunken section, as you can see, or cutout section. And then even on the sub dial here at the 9 o'clock position, same thing there. All the other ones, they just use numerals, so those aren't cut out. You do have a color matched date wheel here at the 3 o'clock. It says alarm, chronograph, and Dan Henry there. I think it all looks pretty good, nice and balanced in my opinion. The sub registers here, you have either a running seconds hand down here at the 6 o'clock position. You can start up the running seconds hand. This is something that I didn't really see mentioned other than one review. So if you click this bottom pusher here, this acts as a running seconds hand, which is kind of a cool feature of this watch. You can see it there. And it keeps track. So if you don't want that running and you do that and you're trying to time, set this thing up for accuracy or whatever, it'll keep that position in its memory, which is kind of cool. So yeah, really interesting little touch there. You have a 60-minute counter here up at the 12 o'clock position. That's for the chronograph there. Really nicely legible. Everything is marked there. A little bit of a busy dial, but if you're using this thing for timing, it's going to be super easy to read. And then you have a 12-hour chronograph subdial over here. So yeah, really happy with the functions and the layout of this movement. It's actually been pretty nice for me. The handset that they use, I like it a lot. It's a very simple handset here, black around the pinion, and then fully painted in lume there. Really kind of cool. It's just a very simple handset, but it looks really good. This hand down here kind of looks like a GMT hand. That is your alarm function. So we'll talk about that in the movement section. And then down here between the 7 and 8 o'clock, you have your on-off indicator for the alarm function. So you pull out this little knob here that shows that it's on. You push it off, or you push it in, and that shows that it's off. Pretty, like I said, it's a pretty simple layout, but really nicely done. They did a good job. You can see these subdials. They're very slightly sunken as well. So yeah, it's a very cool layout. I think the design, obviously classic. It is an homage watch, but yeah, they actually pull it off quite well in my opinion. So yeah, I'm really happy with the dial layout. The dial printing is all crisp and everything like that. One thing I'm not happy about, and something that some reviewers actually called good on this watch, was the lume. So I'm going to pop up a lume shot here, and you can see it against a couple other watches in the collection. This is not good lume. This is one of my worst lumed watches in the collection, and I do have some Pagani design watches in my collection. So this is just as bad, if not worse, than Pagani design lume. It is really disappointing. This thing could look awesome with some really nice super luminova, but yeah, they just skimped real hard on the lume in my opinion. Pretty disappointed in that. All right, so let's talk about the movement in it. So like I mentioned earlier, it is a Miyota 0S80 chronograph alarm movement, quartz movement, obviously. And yeah, it's actually been pretty good for me. My main issue with it is the second hand, and this is something that I've experienced with other Miyota quartz movements. The second hand has a little bit of slop in it. You can see it's kind of sitting to the right there. Depending on the way the gravity hits it, it'll move and it'll be accurate. So yeah, it's a really kind of annoying little thing, but something that I noticed and I just don't like about it. But I will say the movement has been very accurate for me, plus or minus 20 seconds per month, I believe. It's going to be more accurate than that, though. And then the battery life is around 3 years, I think. So I've been overall satisfied with the movement. I'll show you the crown action first because it kind of ties into the rest of the watch. So it is a screw down crown, super smooth, screw in and screw out action. Pull it out to the first position, roll the crown backwards. That changes your date. Roll the crown forward, watch the hand here. And that's where you set your alarm time. So I'm going to try and set this to go off during this little section of the review here. So we'll put it right there. We'll see if that goes off. But again, nice smooth screw in action. First things first, we'll test it, or we will show you the alarm function. So, oh, there you go. It's already going off. So I'll let you listen to that. So it'll do that for a little bit. It'll eventually turn off on its own. But to turn it off manually, you just push that in and it stops it. So it is a pretty cool little function. I've used it to set timers for myself, and it functions great. I've got no issues with it. It's not super accurate, but actually does a pretty good job. A little bit more difficult in the afternoons and stuff, but really not too bad. If you're just wanting a general alarm, it actually works pretty good. So the movement itself functions by these two chronograph pushers. If you missed my section earlier, you press this bottom one here without the chronograph going, and then it acts as a running seconds hand for the main 3 hands there. Push it again, and it realigns to 0. Push this top button here. You can see that starts up the main chronograph counter. So down here you have 1/10 of a second counter. That'll stop after 30 seconds, but it'll still keep on, keeping track of time. So yeah, really interesting. I like it. You can get pretty accurate timing on this thing. I don't know if it has split second, so let's try split second. It does not have split second. So yeah, you can see there the second hand sweeps all the way around. Doesn't snap back or anything like that. The feedback on the pushers is actually pretty good. There's a satisfying click to both of these, which is nice. And I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but every time you push the button, it also does a beep, like the alarm sound beep. It does one little beep. I'll let you listen to it here. The reset button, that does not make a beeping noise, but that's something that I also missed in some other reviews, is every time you press that button, it makes a little beep on it. But yeah, I think the functions of the chronograph, I mean, you have this sub-seconds, you have seconds, and you have a 12-hour counter there. So yeah, I'm overall pretty darn happy with it. Can't complain with the movement. It's been really good for me and kind of fun to have an alarm chronograph in the watch box. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet. So like I mentioned earlier, it is 20 millimeters at the lugs. It flares out to about 24 millimeters, and then it tapers back down to the clasp at 18 millimeters. But it's a very nice bracelet. I was actually pretty happy with it. You can see it hasn't held up all that well. I mean, like I said earlier, the previous owner wore it a lot. There is some scratching right there. You can see where this first link, when it pivots up, it connects to the case. So there is some scratching that gets in that position there. Here you can see the other side. So this one's been beat up and worn pretty good, but it's kind of to be expected on a bracelet in general. I think it just shows a little bit more on this bead blasted finish. I think the finishing matches the case really nicely. You can see it is an H-link style bracelet, really nicely done. You can see the shape of the links there. Push pins for sizing. I removed 2 for my 7.5-inch wrist. The fluidity of the bracelet has been excellent. It's super, super comfortable. This bottom edge has been rounded off really nicely. The inside finishing of this bracelet is actually pretty impressive. It doesn't pull hairs. Everything down here has been rounded nicely. So yeah, it's been a super, super comfortable bracelet. For being a heavier watch, I'm not a huge fan of watches, and this one's creeping up to 150 grams. I'm not a huge fan of watches on bracelets in that weight, but this one has actually been pretty darn good. So yeah, I'm happy with the bracelet. The tolerances, they're a little bit sloppy. I feel like there's a lot of slop in this end link here, the first link. That's kind of where I think a lot of rattle comes from. They could probably beef that up with a bigger spring bar and it would help a little bit. So yeah, just something to think about. But I do like the way the bracelet wears. It wears very nice. The clasp on it, it's a pressed outer shell, milled inner. You have only 2 levels of micro adjust, which is a little bit disappointing, but I was able to get a darn good fit on this watch. It's milled on the inside there, nice tight tolerances. It opens and closes with a nice satisfying click every single time. So I can't complain too much. I think it's a little bit small for this watch head. It definitely feels maybe a little bit top heavy, but it's really not that bad. But I think, adding a longer clasp with a couple other, with a couple more micro adjust positions would have helped this watch a little bit. But I think the clasp itself, it's actually held up pretty well as far as scratches goes. And got the Dan Henry logo there. So there you go, guys. That is the Dan Henry 1972 alarm chronograph. It's a really cool watch. It's a cool movement. It's got a couple drawbacks to it, which I wasn't aware of, and I'm hopefully you guys are now aware of. The lume, absolutely abysmal. It's probably the worst part of the watch. And then the way that it wears, I think, is another little bit of a drawback. It's a little bit of a flat case, but if you have a kind of wider and flatter wrist, I think you'll be all right. The bracelet is actually pretty good. The crystal is good. The design is there. The packaging is there. So yeah, I think it's a fair value for $370. It's a micro brand, so you're getting that kind of support as well. So yeah, I think the movement or the watch is actually pretty darn cool. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.